Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault Excel. Day 3, Leilani Simon. Wow. What a story. Let's get down to business, everybody. WSAV is the source. A key witness took the stand earlier today, and that was Danny Youngkin, the ex-boyfriend of Leilani Simon. The state has argued that Simon's biggest priority in life at the time of Quentin's disappearance was her relationship with Youngkin. The couple lived together when the toddler went missing. Youngkin notably said he did not check on Quentin the morning of October 5th, 2022, when his mother reported him missing. The state alleges the 20-month-old was not in his bed that morning and that Leilani Simon killed him overnight. In other video evidence shown Wednesday, Leilani Simon was on the record with FBI doubling down to agents that Youngkin did tell her he saw Quentin that morning. I know I asked you if you looked and it seemed like he got a little emotional in response to that question. What is it about that question in particular that makes you upset? Asked Assistant U.S. Attorney Tim Dean. Just, I wish I looked. I don't know if it would have made a difference, but I wish I looked, Youngkin testified. In video evidence shown earlier in the day, Simon, on the record with the FBI agent Bridget Brock, said that Youngkin told her he saw Quentin that morning. Danny told us he can't confirm 100% whether or not he saw Quentin in the crib that morning, Brock said in the evidence video. Simon said in the evidence video, he told me that he 100% said he saw him. In response, Brock said Simon told Simon that Youngkin had said he cannot say that he did. In the same video evidence, Brock appears to tell Simon that her statements do not coincide with the surveillance video found at the dumpsters where Quentin's body was allegedly dumped. Evidence video showed that Simons told officers, multiple detectives, that she stopped at the Chevron gas station next to the Zelia mobile home dumpsters around 1:30 a.m. October 5th, but surveillance videos show her stopping at the dumpsters instead. What we do know, if when you pulled into the trailer park, you stopped, Brock said in the video. I can't imagine what was going through your mind at the time when you were trying to make a decision. I knew you were sitting there thinking about what you were going to do with Quentin. The jury also heard from a forensics anthropologist, Dr. Angie Christensen from FBI Quantico, who testified to examining bones and remains sent to her October 2022. She confirmed they were those of a 1 to 2 year old child who experienced trauma before death. The court recessed for the day before the defense cross-examined him. He's expected back on the stand Thursday at 9 a.m. Live blog. The live recording is on a 30-minute delay per a court order. WSAV's timestamps for Leilani Simon's trial are set in the time of watching the recording, not as it happened in the courtroom. Please consider this difference when watching the live recording and reading the updates. Graphic content is possible. Okay. So it goes on to talk about Red, the drug dealer. He's identified as someone she mentioned in court testimony. Just going back over, rehashing what was said in court. It says Stokes rules that the unredacted text messages will not be discussed, whatever those are. The state shows the jury a video of Simon being questioned by detectives October 5th through the 6th. State continues with lead investigator Chatham County Police Department Detective Marion Lemons. Lemons is questioned on evidence collected during the investigation, including photos, text messages, and what the state called a digital suicide note, a selfie video taken by Simon. Court breaks, 15-minute recess. Court resumes. State continues questioning Lemons. Jury shown the internet search from Simon's phone October 1st, 2022 at 1:10 a.m. Reading, is it common for a mother to have resentment or even anger towards her child because the father or other reason? And that was an internet search, October 1st, 2022 at 1 in the morning. So obviously she stayed up late at night doing whatever. And you heard Danny talking about he didn't know what she did. He didn't contend with her. He did his own thing. He helped with the children, put them to bed, and he went to sleep because he had to go to work in the morning. There were times he'd wake up, she wasn't there. So where was she? Very, very interesting information. Okay, just going back over some of the things that were said during trial. It also says, she says he was willing to undergo phone monitoring and allow police to set up recording devices in a hotel room, which that did happen. You hear them going back and forth about the timeline in their commentary in the hotel room. She felt like he was interrogating her as an FBI agent. Little did she know he had a camera. Law enforcement had a camera set up in that hotel room, which is weird because imagine her wanting to have sex or lovey-dovey, and he wouldn't want to do that because there was a camera in the room. Very interesting. Okay. Also, Mr. Youngkin was questioned about the day the child went missing. It also, once again, shows the two in a hotel room talking on October 8th, 2022. So they had a hidden camera inside of the room. And then you hear her saying, I don't want to sit here and be questioned by you, Simon Yell. It's just crazy. Let's get down to business. Thank you for joining me. The takeaway from what I saw briefly, court. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Hello, Peter. Thank you all for tuning in to this live stream. Late night. There was no bond between LEILANI and Danny. That's obvious, okay? He was aloof in his conversations in court. He didn't have a good memory of certain things, which is odd for somebody his age to be so young. Him not being able to remember things. Excuse my lighting. I should have went live from the other device, but I decided to go from the phone. But anyway, hello, honey. Thank you. He was aloof in not remembering things. He's asked lots of questions by the state, but he can't remember the time. He can't remember how long he did this or did that, which I found that weird considering he's young. He's not an older person. He's not Queen's age. So, you know, my mind is like, how can you be so young and you can't remember how long you worked somewhere, where you met somebody, how long this person worked here, or where you lived. And he can't remember certain things that it seems to me a young person should be able to remember. How long you lived somewhere, where you lived. All that was talked about, how they met, where they stayed, how he got to Georgia, blah, blah, blah. And he was aloof. And I found that weird. I don't know if it's because he drank a lot. He admitted he drank Fireball a lot during the time before the child's death. He also said he doesn't drink now. So is that true? Did he tell the truth that he's not a drinker now? He also mentioned he hid his phone under the bed, under his pillow, mattress, whatever. Because she would go through his things, his phone. He felt like she was invading his privacy. And she did this because obviously she felt like he was doing something, he said. Very interesting. What I was hoping is that the DA would ask, why were you drinking a lot? Because you want to talk about her and what she was doing and her attitude and her demeanor and who she was at that time of the child's unaliving, but you also should have asked him because he's also a part of the story. He's testifying to his relationship with her. District Attorney, you should have asked him, well, why were you drinking so much? Do you know why you were drinking? He didn't ask him that. He should have asked him that. She yelled at him a lot. Didn't want to wake up the children in the mornings, as he did that fateful morning. Didn't want to wake up the children. And basically he said on the witness stand, he never checked the crib, which I told you all that years ago. I felt strange about that. Him checking the crib, excuse me. Because like I said, you can't have one without the other. Y'all checked it or you didn't. And why would he be checking the crib? He's trying to get ready for work, okay? So that's why I asked you the question on the community page. And we'll go over those polls before I check out of here. Okay? Hello, Konar. So now you're here, he didn't check. So why did he lie? Okay? Why did he lie back then that he checked? That's what made me think that he was involved, you see. Okay? Because you always got to remember something about lying. There's a method to lying. Okay? I wasn't in the movie, Mom. Don't start no shit now, okay? This is a copacetic live. Don't get blocked, because I will block you. Why lie? You know you didn't see her, you didn't see the child, in the crib. Why lie? And just like she cried in court when the jury walked in, well, he easily could be up here sniffling and crying too, because he's not telling the truth. And the one thing we've learned about these type of cases, they usually have a cohort and somebody along for the ride. Okay? Just saying. And I had to tell myself that earlier. She cried in court as soon as the jury walked in. She was putting on. The camera's sitting in front of her, so she put on. So should I believe that he's being genuine by crying and sniffling? Because she did the same thing. See, say, whoa. And then you have the DA asking him, basically about why he's emotional, blah, blah, blah. He's wishing he looked in the crib. But like you said, I don't think it would have mattered if I had looked in the crib or not. And that's why I had a problem with Danny 2 years ago. Because I said, you don't really know who knows what and who did what. And nobody's going to tell you, oh, yeah, I had a problem with a 2-year-old, almost 2-year-old. Why would he tell detectives that? Oh, I had a problem with a kid. I didn't like him. Now, he portrays himself as a helpful guy. And when you listen to his conversations, you would think he was just really there, as I had said in my live yesterday. Something to do. That's obvious. Please check out my live stream about this conversation, okay? Because it's poignant, the information I bring to you about him and his relationship with LEILANI. They didn't have anything. Okay, the house was just a barn. Hello, Sky. The house was just a barn for people to live in. There was no love, there was no camaraderie, there was no nothing in the house. The house was in disarray, filthy carpet, old, as I said, cabinets, flooring, just an old place. Billy Joe and her husband spent their money on campers and trucks and shit like that. They gave 2 fucks about the inside of the house. Pool, green water, no pretty shrubs, flower bushes, none of that shit was outside because they didn't care about that. Okay? So while she's bitching and moaning about what the daughter wasn't doing and not keeping the house clean, the point is you're the orchestrator of this nonsense. This is your house, wasn't LEILANI's house. See, you always got to remember that. This is your house, you and your husband's house. So what you say, go. So when you listen to Danny talk, you realize what the Queen had already said. There was no camaraderie. There was no union. There was no love. She's going live about they're not having sex, this and that. Then you listen at the video where he's got her trying to confess her sins in the hotel room. She's bitching. She's mad. Oh, you don't believe me, woo woo. You can see there was nothing between them. He drank all the time. She's geeked up on drugs. What did I say earlier? How did this start that she was on drugs? Was he also on drugs? Because what is the purpose of a man or woman being with somebody on drugs and they're not on drugs? It makes no sense. You don't have anything in common with them. You don't have anything in common. I don't get high, so what do I want to be with you and you get high? I'm not a drunk, but you're a drunk. How's this going to work? It ain't going to work. Okay? It's not going to work. And as you see the end result, she's incarcerated. That house was a flop house. It was a place with young people living for free, doing nothing, not contributing, not paying any bills, nothing. Billy Joe wanted them out of there. You heard that from his testimony. They didn't have enough money to move. And like I said to you all earlier, who wants to move somewhere with a person they ain't even getting along with? You get ready to go move to a place where a person don't want to get up, go to work. They're tooting cocaine, all that. What was he going to have with her at the next place? Nothing. Pay attention now. I'm getting ready to move out into a place with you and you don't do shit. I'm a drunk. You're a crackhead. It's a recipe for disaster. And you can't have people imbibing in alcohol and drugs raising children when they're addicted to it. It doesn't work. It's never worked. So even if nobody murdered a kid, something bad was going to happen either way. Stay woke. Drinking in the car, bottles in the car, like they said, the DA, these yours, hers, what? Yeah, they're ours. He didn't point the finger. Yep, they're ours. And like he said, yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I'm drinking and driving. It was a recipe for disaster. These two. She didn't want to get up in the mornings. She said she'd make up the time on the shift with her brother, Paul. And that's what happens when you're a geeker. You stay up late at night because you're trying to chase that high. And for those of you who've never used drugs, you wouldn't understand that, okay? The person is trying to chase the high they originally got, but you can't get that high back because it doesn't exist. And that's what happens when you become an addict. You're trying to get the high you first got. So she didn't like getting up in the morning. She would bitch, moan, yell, scream, holler, whatever. She was unhappy. And then too, she's an addict. So addicts don't like to be bothered. They don't want you messing with their sleep. They don't want you talking to them. That's why I said he didn't have anything with her. Okay? But yet she's crying and moaning about he don't want to have sex with me. Woo, woo, woo. So I don't know if he didn't want to have sex with her because she was pregnant or what. But if you're bitching and moaning and crying and complaining all the time, why would he want to have sex with you? Come on now. He basically had a routine. Go to work, come home, get the kids from Michelle's house, get them ready to eat, blah, 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 get them ready for bed. Poof, go to sleep. That was his life. Plus drinking. He drank all day, basically. He took care of the kids. She didn't. Times he'd wake up, she wasn't even there in the mornings. Where was she? Out canoodling, trying to get high. Maybe she was prostituting. Because that's the thing about getting high. You got to have money to get high. You got to have money to get high. And she wasn't working enough. Don't know how often she went to work, but it doesn't look like she was doing her part. You got to be able to get high. You got to have money to get high, okay? So how much of a drug debt did she really have? She said $20. Can't believe that because she's a liar. So you can't believe anything out of LEILANI Simon's mouth. They made hourly wages, no salary. He was told they had to leave by Village, Ohio. And once again, he can't remember anything, which I just find very baffling. Babysitter wanted $200 for all 3 children. She felt like she was giving them a deal. Basically, he said that was too much. Well, it's not when you consider it's probably almost $100 a pop for a kid for daycare. So she's keeping 3 of your children. And you can't pay her because LEILANI didn't want to get up and go to work. Okay? So you can see the dynamics in his testimony. He was just breathing. She was just breathing. The children were just breathing. They were in his house, but there was nothing between he and she She was, as I said, spitting out children like Skittles. You know, the candy machine in the grocery store, you put your nickel, dime in there, turn the knob and the candy spurts out when you lift the lever. That's what LEILANI Simon is. Candy machine. Spitting out babies like candy. No rhyme, no reason, no care, nothing. He foolishly rode the ride with her. And I said that in my commentary. Queen must know what she's talking about. Because everything he said in testimony was what I had said before. I hadn't even heard him speak. Okay? Because I know people. And I've been a young person, and I've been around all walks of life. And I've been around misery, you see. And when you've been around misery, you know what to expect from people, okay? He was unhappy. She was unhappy. Why was she unhappy? Unhappy because what? Things weren't working out with him. He's a drunk. She's a crackhead. She don't like it with her mom. Mom's on her ass. What? Mad at the world. Wish she had a better life. Because in her video, it's all about Danny. So she's jaded. Wanting the love from this man who obviously was there all along because he could have easily left her. Come on now, let's keep it real. He couldn't have been happy in that situation. Mom bitching and moaning about what they're not doing in the house. They're not carrying their weight, want them out of the house. He could have easily left her. Fuck this, I gotta get out of here. I got to get going on. Okay? I got to get out of here. But he stayed, so why did he stay? Number one, why did he stay? Number two, what was she miserable about? She's never going to admit that. Her demeanor in court, she didn't like that he was talking and telling their business in court. Of course not. Why would she? She don't want the court knowing that they weren't in tune with one another. She never thought her suicide video was going to go to print. People were going to hear it. She didn't like that. She didn't like him saying he didn't like her snooping around in her things. That's why he hid his phone under his pillow, under his mattress. She didn't want that told. She thought he was doing things. Was he doing things? Was he cheating on her? But yet you're the one running around disappearing at night. So when was he cheating? Not saying that he didn't, but just, just going by what they're saying. When was he cheating? Because he's at home with your kids, keeping your kids ready, fixing food. That was also asked, did she cook, help with the meals? No, she didn't do nothing. So basically she was just a wet ass. A wet piece of ass. That obviously a piece of ass he didn't want. Checkmate. Let her tell it. You don't even want to have sex with me. For what? You're a dope fiend. What do you want to have sex with you for? You're bitching, you're moaning, you're crying, you're upset, you're angry, whatever the hell's going on. What does he want with you? You see, you got to think about what you bring to the table. And I'm not saying he was no morning star. Okay, I mean, he's not a bad-looking white guy. But the point I'm trying to make is neither one was good for the other. Okay? Because they both had problems with addiction, obviously. Alcohol, drugs. So they were fucked and doomed anyway. Kids, no kids. Now you're in a house where people don't want you there, that's a problem. You two ain't getting along, that's a problem. You ain't having sex, you ain't talking, you ain't hugging, you ain't kissing, that's a problem. Now we're taking care of children we can't afford, that's a problem. Somebody got to eat, somebody need pampers, somebody need diapers, that's a problem. This is why I keep saying why you don't need to have children when you ain't ready. Because it's a responsibility. And they were overwhelmed in the situation that they were in, but they put themselves in that situation. So they have to own their part. Daddy has to own getting in with her. She has to own getting in with him. Can't have one without the other. Basically, he did believe that all three children were in the room that morning. Did not look into the pack and play to see if Quentin Simon was actually in that playpen. Originally, he told the police that he did. Wasn't sure then, but said he wished he had looked. Don't know if it would have mattered, though, if he had have looked. He exited the back door that morning by the swimming pool. He admits he was skeptical of the ordeal story by LEILANI Simon, and she stuck to it, he said in his testimony. Of course she stuck to it, because she wasn't going to give detectives what they wanted, which is the truth. Was the truth. I killed my kid. She held out until the very end when they said, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be held against you in the court of law. She held out. As I said before, I guess there was no sex on that fateful night in that hotel room where he agreed, signed a paper to have the room bugged. We also learned he signed that paperwork in North Carolina where his mom lived, which is bizarre, why he went way up there and they served the papers there for him to sign it. I don't know, maybe he just took off and went up there because of all the shit that was going on. So what is the truth? Do you believe Danny Youngkin's version of not having any knowledge of the child, not being in the crib, pack and play, no knowledge of the child being dead, murdered? Do you believe him? That's what I want to hear from you all. Well, Peter, all types of people hang with all types of people. Believe that. What was wrong with LEILANI Simon? The truth. What was her malfunction? What was wrong with her up here? All this anger, bitching, moaning, crying, complaining, yelling at kids, all this shit. What was her problem? Cocaine made her angry, all this, you know. Yet, you didn't kill your other two kids, though. Stay woke. You're doped up, mad at the world, vengeful, whatever the hell is going on with her, psychotic, psychoses, drug-induced, but you chose only one kid to kill. That's where there's a problem. Okay? So you can't explain that logically. Killing the one kid. You're so jacked up, fucked up, mad at the world. Why him? You're upset, you're mad at the baby daddy, woo woo. Okay? You're mad at Danny, but you don't kill his kid. Help me understand, because I'm confused. Because really that makes more sense that she would kill Danny's kid. I can't have him, he don't want me, we're not getting along, we're not having sex, there's no love, there's no camaraderie, he's just here, it's a free place to live. Maybe he felt obligated, he wanted to do the right thing, but he's really not, he's not vibing with her. Make it make sense. Why didn't she kill his kid? She said positive things about all the children, but yet some people feel like she bonded more with the other two children. Well, she's going to bond with them because she cared more for Danny. That was her motivation, was Danny Youngkin. That's what was said in court. That was her motivation. That was her focus. Him. It was all about him. So really, that's why I said it didn't make any sense that, I don't know. Any of the children, all the children end up dead. I care more about him. I don't give a fuck about these kids. Kill all the damn kids. Help me understand. Why this kid? But see, What did I tell you? You don't ask why, you ask why not. Because you'll lose your mind trying to figure out why she wanted to kill this kid, but she's trying to hold on to Danny. So her ideology may be, I'm going to hold on to the kid closest to the man that I want. I ain't going to get rid of those kids. That's his kid. That last one, I want him, and I will keep that kid. But I'm going to definitely get rid of this one. I don't need this one. I ain't got nothing going on with his daddy. I don't give a fuck. His testimony proved everything I had already said in my live stream earlier. There was nothing between he and she. There was no love. There was no camaraderie. There was no union. There was no bond. There was no fondness. There was nothing. He was just sleeping in that house, and so was she, just like her brother. It was a fucking barn for all these people. Just a place for a bunch of hen and horses, coyotes, goats. That's all it was. Just a place to sleep. Filthy, nasty, disgusting, vile, gross playpen for a baby. More than likely, she kept them pinned in there all the time. Probably didn't let him roam around and play. He didn't have a life. Beautiful boy didn't have a life. Sadly, he was born to that bitch, and she didn't give two fucks about him. And frankly, she didn't give two fucks about her other children. Let's make that clear. Because I don't want nobody thinking because she favored those two, she loved them. Oh, no. There was no love for the other two children either. She just chose not to knock them off. But you could best believe somewhere down the road, she definitely could have. Because if you can kill one kid, you can kill another one and kill another one. Don't get it twisted. Evil is evil. See, we like to try to put everything in a compartment and say why they did this and why they chose this one and not this one. The point is you're sick. And the fact that you kill your own child you brought here, you definitely kill another one because you're ill. So it really don't matter the reason she killed Quentin. She's evil. She's a bitch. She's nasty. She's vile. She's a witch. She's a witch. And she's right where she should be. And she should never come out. And I pray that those 12 members of the jury will find her ass guilty. But what I'd like to know is why would Danny lie in the beginning to say he saw the child in the playpen? Because that needs to be addressed. And the state should have asked him. So this is where I have a problem with the defense, because they do this all the time in these trials. They don't ask the pertinent questions. You should have asked him, number one, why was he drinking? Was he happy with her? What was going on between them two? Ask him. What do you got to lose? You want to know the mindset? Ask him. He was there. Ask him how he thinks. What he thinks was going on. What you got to lose? Because basically you all are dancing around this crazy bitch, talking about, oh, she had mental issues and they weren't getting along. And, well, then just ask him. He was dating her. Ask him. What do you think was wrong with her? What do you think was bothering her? Hey, did you ever consider leaving her? Ask him. What do you have to lose? Nothing. Because people are going to want to know how he thought. Because right now we're just assuming how she thought. You should be asking him more questions. And I pray today you will ask him more questions. Why did you stay? Why were you drinking? Did you love her? Did you want more kids with her? Were you planning to leave her? Why did you lie and say you saw the child in the playpen and you didn't? You need to ask him that. Because I'm trying to figure out why he would lie. That's why I said years ago I felt like he might have been involved. Because that was the first thing we heard. Oh, he saw the kid. He said he saw the kid in there, but yet the playpen was across the room. Don't know how many feet, but if he's getting up tiptoeing to get ready for work, he said that in court. I don't like waking the kid. She'll get mad. She'll start yelling. No way he went and looked in that playpen. For what? He had no reason to go look over there. So why did he lie? Did he do it because he was afraid of where this story was going to go? Oh, shit, the baby's missing. I know she's crazy as hell. She pops off. I think she may have done something. I better go ahead and say, yeah, that child was in that pen. Play along. When I know deep down inside, ain't nobody came here and took that kid. He never left that night. The brother never left that night. That's all on the sensors on the alarm. Nobody went outside of that house before what, 11 o'clock? Door didn't open till 9 something in the morning. That's on the alarm. So see, they had her there. They had her at the dumpsters. They had her. Car riding around on cameras in the city. They had her. And she had to have known that when they were asking her questions during the interrogation. And yet she never folded. Never once said, okay, I don't want to talk anymore. I'm going to go get me a lawyer. She rode that donkey's ass ride. Did you hear what I said? Because she's a narcissist. And that's what narcissists do. They ride that ride because they think they got it under control, but they don't. The average person with some sense would have stopped talking. Okay, they're asking me stuff that I think they already know the answers to, and that means they've got shit on me. I better quit talking. She didn't do that. Getting hysterical, hyped up, because she knows her foot's caught in a trap. That's why I said a sensible person would have stopped talking. Okay, they know I wasn't over here. They know I was over here. The Orgel story, they zoomed in court to show you the shelf in the bathroom. Had Amazon on the shelf. But yet, I'm at the trailer park visiting my friend getting Orgel at 1 in the morning. Never happened. She should have known what time of day it was when they asked her about that. But what are you doing over there? Oh, visiting my friend. The friend that hadn't seen you in months. You understand? Yes, it looks bad. That's why I said a couple years ago, I thought that he knew that the baby was dead. Because we've seen these cases of people beating up children, hurting children, and it ain't no one party type situation. It'd be 2, 3 people beating up kids, abusing children. Because we don't know these people. So I never rooted for Danny Youngkin back then. It wasn't to be mean. It was just, I've lived. And these stories never fare well. So you can't say who did what and who didn't do what. I'm not getting ready to brag on any of them because I don't know them. And what I've seen with Billy Joel, the husband, now the inside of the house, how they were living, you think I'm going to sit here? Even then, I wasn't bragging about these people because I didn't like what I was seeing. But yes, he seemed emotional in court. He seemed to cry, sniffle a lot. He seemed genuine in his testimony in court. But once again, the DA, you don't ask the questions you should be asking. Sir, why were you drinking? Sir, what was going on between you and Leilani? Sir, what was the matter with your relationship? Sir, why did you lie about seeing the child in the playpen? Why would you lie? Let him answer. Because that's what a liar is hoping, is that you don't ask the pertinent questions. So you should have asked him so we could see his facial expression to see if he's telling the truth or not. Because a liar isn't expecting you to ask. So that's what you should have done, District Attorney. Why did you lie, sir? Why did you say you saw the kid? Did you see the child? No, I didn't. Well, why would you lie? Sir, do you have something to do with this child being dead? Did you know she slipped out, dumped the child? Sir, did you hear her beat, suffocate the child? See, that's what you should be asking. I hope you get to that today. What did you hear that night? Were you sound asleep? Did you get up, use the bathroom, get a drink of water, soda pop, huh? Because the one thing nobody's going to tell you is the truth. Hell no, I didn't like that little boy. Hell no, I don't like my own kid. Hell no, I didn't like the other kid. Hell no, I didn't want to be bothered, but I played like I was a daddy to everybody. But I ain't want to be there. I was unhappy. I stayed because I needed a place to stay. Say, well, because everybody does it at some point in life. They ride that donkey ride into the abyss, knowing it's getting ready to go downhill. And we've all done it. Put up with people that meant us no good. Got ourselves wrapped up in entanglements, drama, foolishness, mayhem for somebody else. And what we've seen with Billy Joel, the husband, I said the same thing about her husband. Why were you settling for this bullshit? Paying money for a house, nice lot, but these people are staying in the house and they don't give two fucks about this house. They're letting it go to shits and you all are paying a mortgage. Why? Don't you see? It's stair step of drama. Her husband's putting up with her shit and family. Why? She's putting up with this shit with her daughter and the boyfriend, how they're living. Why? Danny's obviously not happy. LEILANI's not happy. Don't you see what was going on? Nobody's happy. But yet they're all riding this donkey ride into the abyss together. For what? What are you gaining? That's why I said we all have to check ourselves because we've done it. Maybe not to the extent of murder, addiction, but we've put up with stuff from people we had no business putting up with. We tolerated behavior that we knew we shouldn't be tolerating. They tolerated our shit when they didn't have to, okay? These are all lonely vessels who crossed each other's paths. What we call it 6 degrees of separation. All these people never knew each other at some point and they all linked up. Billy Joel, the husband, Danny coming into LEILANI's life, she coming into his life, she's bringing her children and she makes a baby with them and they're all miserable as fuck. Stay woke. They're all miserable together. And what did I tell you in the last live? Billy Joel wanted her house back. And she got her wish. At the expense of a baby boy's life. That was the ultimate price. Hello, James. Thank you. I want my house. I want y'all out of here. Well, you got your wish. Your daughter got incarcerated. Danny went on about his business. The 2 children went to foster care. And Quentin met murder, went to heaven. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. It's in the scripture. Speak it and it shall be so. So Billy Joel spoke it into existence. I want my house back. Stay woke, everybody. I want my house back. I want y'all out of here. I want you gone. Poof. And it happened. Anybody paying attention? She got a wish. She got her house, but at the expense of murder. Well, she didn't deserve to have the children because she legally had the 2 kids. Danny naturally wouldn't let her have custody of his child. But she was living, doing her thing with her husband. So she's just as liable as LEILANI. Because you knew what type of child you had, and she wasn't fit to have custody of the children, and you had custody for whatever sick reason. That's something we haven't heard and get an understanding about that either. Why did Billy Joe have custody of the children, yet was living all over here with her husband traveling? See, there was no care for the kids. That's why they're all gone now. See, God had a plan. And they all put the plan into existence. They're all guilty because they all played a role. Billy Joel, the husband, Danny, LEILANI. Everybody played an intricate role to the demise of a baby boy and 2 babies going into the state's care. Y'all took care of that. And all of you got to own your damn part. Okay? You can't have one without the other. But his behavior was strange to me in court yesterday. Very aloof. He couldn't remember anything. Why not? Hey, what time did you go over here? Hey, when did this happen? When did you move here? When did you get this job? When did she get this job? He couldn't remember nothing. I thought, this child is too young for this. You're too young not to have no memory of nothing. Come on now. Why not? I don't know if it's the alcoholism or he's a little bit slow or he's playing a role. Take your pick. Let's go to my community board before I check out of here. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $McAngie, 129 Cash App. Follow the Queen on the Newsbreak app. I've not uploaded content in a couple days. Been a little busy and a little bit behind because I got too many stories interchanging at once. I'm working on P. Diddy, Sarah Boone now, and plus this trial. It's taking up a lot. It's time consuming. So bear with me to get the content out. We're going to talk about Sarah Boone later. She wants snacks in court. Should she get snacks in court, Sarah Boone? By the time she gets back to the jail, she hasn't showered. She's too late for showering. They won't let her shower anyway. Should she get snacks in the courtroom? When I thought about that, the jury, they're not getting snacks. They're there as long as you are. District attorney, the clerk, all those people, the bailiff, they're there too. Very good point. Sarah Boone wants snacks during trial. 12% yes, 76% no, 6% not sure, 6% don't care. Danny Youngkin admits in court he lied about not checking on Quentin in his crib that morning. Why did he lie? Here are your responses. He suspected LEILANI harmed Quentin, 19%. Wanted to help her story but didn't know anything, 29%. He knew Quentin was deceased, 24%. Wow, that's deep. Not sure, 28%. So it's almost neck to neck. He knew the child was deceased at 24% and not sure, 28%. LEILANI didn't like Danny saying he did not care for her going through his phone. She got upset with him often. I believe he told the truth and she can't accept that she was a problem person. Angry. He obviously had an alcohol problem. I wish the DA would have asked him why he drank so much. Why did he drink so much? As I said in my live this morning, this house was a barn, just a barn. Per Danny's testimony today in court, basically there was no love, respect, no bond between him and LEILANI. It was just a place for all to sleep. It is bothersome to me that Danny Youngkin can't remember timelines on basic events, especially him being so young. Is Danny Youngkin's testimony genuine, truthful? 64% says yes, 15% says no, not sure, 17%, 50-50, 4%. Family pushes for the Menendez brothers to be released from prison. New information pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs, 6 new accusers. We now have Kanye West wrapped into this drama of raping a young lady in a studio with him, Kanye, and Puff Daddy. I brought you content on that yesterday morning. Please check out that live. Sorry about the background noise. Sarah Boone, once again, in court, wanting snacks, weigh in. And also Gilgo Beach, Rex Heuermann has appeared in court at a hearing. Just bringing you all the latest updates. And Amber Geiger, she was denied parole. And the murder of Botham Jean, her neighbor. Kanye's ex-assistant claims he showed her a text of him saying he wanted to bed his mom-in-law. Weigh in. Check out my video once again pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs and Kanye West. New allegations against Kanye West that he sexually assaulted, groped, harassed his ex-assistant. It's very odd details there. And Susan Smith has a disciplinary charge. Don't know what it is, what happened. Was she provoked because somebody knew she was coming up for parole next month? She lashed out, popped off. What's the allegation? They're not saying. Those are my updates. Oh, thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you. You all are saying no snacks. See you later, Peter. I'm not going to hold you all. I'm almost an hour in. I hope that Danny is telling the truth. The testimony he gave in court yesterday and whatever he's going to tell in court today. It'll be a shame that he's not been truthful because, like I said, you only worth your word. And if you cannot be truthful, then you're not worth that damn thing, okay? So just as quick as she cried when the jury walked in the court the other day and put on, he could do the same. And I'm not here to say Danny Youngkin is a liar. All I'm saying is you have to start at the beginning because at the beginning is where the truth lies. And in the beginning, he did lie for LEILANI. And you have to ask yourself why. Now, they've got him running across the workplace, crying, upset, hurrying out of there. But what is the truth? Because just like she held on that lie about that little boy in that dumpster, he could have easily done the same thing, running out from work, crying in front of a boss, seeming like he was upset, concerned about the boy child, playing the part when he got to the house with detectives. But how do we know what he knew and didn't know? Did he really get along with the children? Did he treat the children well? Did he ever abuse the children mentally, physically, sexually? You have to ask all those questions because we don't know Danny. We don't know LEILANI. We don't know Billy Joe. We don't know her husband. We don't know the brother. That's the point. And when you're dealing with all these different people coming and going out of a house, living in filth, honorary, you can't vouch for any of them. And that's all I'm going to say. He appeared like he was telling the truth. Do you understand? But that does not mean he has told us the truth. Because like I said, there's a reason he lied for her in the beginning. And why would he do that? You didn't look over there at the playpen? Just say, well, I got up, got ready for work. I didn't check anywhere. Why lie? Say I have a problem with that. Now he's in court sniffling and sniffling and sniffling and crying. He seems emotional. Maybe he has guilt. that he lied in the beginning, that he held on to her and rode that donkey ride when he knew he should have bowed out. He probably has a lot of guilt. If he's human and he has empathy, he should have guilt because he played a part as well. Living in that dungeon, knowing they weren't getting along, they both had addictions, they didn't do right by the children, they weren't paying the babysitter right, they used her. So he has a lot to stand account for. And actually, that's between him and God. But that's the burden that Danny has to carry. We don't have to carry that for him. That's the joy of being your own individual. I ain't got to carry your burdens. But what is the truth? That's why I have the question. Does he have rights to his child? Does he get to see his child? Does he know where his child is? Danny Youngkin. Will we hear that he knows where his child is, has visitation rights, can see the child? Has the child been adopted? See, lots of questions. And what is the jury thinking? I pray we don't have a repeat of Casey Anthony, because that's what the defense is trying to take, their strategy for her defense. You don't have any proof how the child died. You don't have proof she killed the child. And other people were living in that damn house. So that's exactly what they're going to say at the end of this trial. 2 other people were living in that house. So who's to say one of them didn't do it? But the door on the sensors on the door tells the truth. Ain't nobody came out this house. So how did that little boy get out of there to the dumpster, to the landfill? Exactly. Because he didn't walk himself out there. Because somebody took him over to the dumpster, which then went to the landfill. And that is LEILANI Simon. But that is the defense's job, is to give reasonable doubt that their client did not kill that baby. And they will do whatever they need to do to get her off. That is their job. And as they said, the burden of the proof is on the state to prove she did it, not them. They're just going to show you why she didn't do it and she ain't the person. She's looking around like this in court, you know, like a kid sitting up in the front seat of the parents' car, waiting to see where they're going. You ain't going nowhere but to damn prison. The 12 people see fit. Amen. But as we've learned, all it takes is one to hang the jury. And that would be an atrocious scenario. That we get that one crazy nutbag. I don't know, I don't think she did it. Okay? I don't think she did it. I don't think she did it. She don't look like the type. She was troubled. She was mad at the world. She was upset. She was going through things. She was on drugs. Blah, 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 blah. She showed no remorse. Afterwards, lying to the news, hooping it up on the island with her mom and people, that shows you who she is. She carried that lie until they put the handcuffs on her. That's LEILANI Simon. She had no regard for her child. She had no regard for her other children. She had no regard for anybody in that house. No love for Danny Youngkin, as she claims. It's all about her. But now she's sitting in jail and going to trial to see if 12 people will favor her to set her free. And I pray that they don't. That's my commentary. I'll be back later, Thursday evening, to bring you a rendition of what happened in court. I'll also bring you an update on R. Kelly's daughter. She has now told us the truth, allegedly her truth, that he did sexually molest her as a child. And she now is admitting that she went into a psych ward and had mental issues due to the essay. You either believe her or you don't. You're entitled to your opinion. I'll bring you an update pertaining to Sarah Boone as well. Gilgo Beach, Menendez brothers, I'll try to tie it all in tomorrow if I can, or I'll chop them up individually. And naturally, I'll bring you content here pertaining to this trial of LEILANI Simon. Praying the jury follows all instructions not to talk about the case, look anything up, Google search, watch the news. Do any of them have an opinion already of her guilt or innocence? How many people followed the content before being chosen as a jury member? Who all told the truth? Because naturally, you want to be a jury member, you're not going to tell, oh yeah, I was watching, I'm obsessed, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. Praying she's found guilty and that she never sees the light of day, because she doesn't deserve to be free, because she killed an innocent child for no reason, and there's nothing that that baby boy could have done to her worth her taking his life. And it's a disturbing, very disturbing case, because we don't know how he died, don't know where exactly he died in the house, but we know he made it to a dumpster, which also landed in a landfill. And most of us do believe LEILANI Simon is the culprit. What we're asking ourselves is the why. Why would she kill a beautiful baby boy? I don't know. And naturally, there's no rhyme or reason for killing him. Whatever the reasons were, it was for her own selfish reasons. Sick and selfish reasons. Because in the end, she spared two. And why would you do that? Because you didn't care for Quentin. It's obvious. And his father has to be sitting somewhere wondering, why did she kill my baby? What was so bad about my baby? And I think he's probably the reason. Wasn't just cocaine fueled, mad, angry. She probably has mental problems, bad attitude, then getting high, drinking, and then personal shit she ain't never resolved with Quentin's father. And 9 times out of 10, he looks like the dad. And that baby was a reminder of whatever the hell went down with that baby daddy. And she no longer wanted to look at that baby boy anymore. So she snuffed him out. If you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution, not the problem. Mind the children. Bypass DHS and call 911. If you see or hear any improprieties with a child, don't let another child become a Quentin Simon story. Yeah, she's very dangerous. Because as I said, no matter what you think and why you think she killed Quentin, she is a loose cannon, a drug addict. She would have eventually hurt the other two. That's on God. Because, yeah, she had no control. She's a walking time bomb. And it was only a matter of time. Somebody was going to get hurt. It just so happened to be Quentin. but she is not fit to raise children. Period. Thank you for joining me. You all have a wonderful week. Once again, follow the Queen on Newsbreak. Download the app. Same name, Vault Excel. Follow me here. 3,000 plus videos in the queue under my name. Feel free to go back to my earlier content from 2019 to the present, bringing you daily news, breaking news, various topics, scenarios. And I thank you for following this network. And once again, prayers for our children. We have to do right by them because they are our future and they did not ask to be here. So the least we can do is do right by them. And if you can help a child in any way, in a positive way, please do so because children need you. And everybody is not fortunate to have a wonderful mother, father, grandparent. Some people just aren't fortunate to be loved properly. And I think some of you in the chat know this personally. We all have our own struggles and journey. So if you've ever lived a life where you didn't have appropriate parenting, then you know what it's like. So if you can help a child in any way positively, then do so. Please do so. Because you just may save a life. Thank you. Thank you for supporting this network. I appreciate it. You all have a wonderful week. God bless all of you. I thank you for the love and the kind comments. I appreciate it. You all please be safe out there. Bundle up. It's chilly in most places. It's very chilly here in the high 10. And I'm going to go get me some rest because I haven't had much sleep lately. So I'm going to go get under my good covers and hit the sack. Thank you so much. Be back with more commentary pertaining to LEILANI's silent. To be continued, everybody. The Vault Excel. Thank you.